Hell, uh-uh. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Okay, had a little echo there. Okay. And close, close, close. Got too much stuff open. All right. That, that, and that. And okay. So I'll be able to see what you can see. I hope. Okay. And there we go. Whew. Okay. Wow, who is this with 3 months membership? Blue Draws. Happy 5th birthday, Prince Archie. Hope you had a blessed and fun day. I hope so too. Seeing that Archie's parents are the most popular royal couple in the world, the most high profile, influential couple in the world. And, well, I could probably go on. Oh, man. Okay, so I finally split my lip. Don't ask me how I did that, but weather's been kind of unseasonably dry, and I am very prone to doing that. So, okay, I'm just stalling for just a little bit here. Let me grab just a couple more things here. All right, so slides are ready. Just move them over, and we're good to go. Hey, Church Nelly. Let me see who else is here. Fancy, Judy Matassit, Mary H. Let me see who else is here. Carol Lunn. Oh yeah, and there's that. Thank you so much. Oh no, I can't do it from here. All right. Wow, can you believe it's been already a year since the coronation? And in that time, I wonder if there's anything interesting that has happened over in the United Kingdom. I mean, they're down 1.5 royal. Okay, there we go. Happy 5th birthday. Thank you, Blue Draws. Okay. And there we go. There we go. Let's see. Met Gala faves. I'm going to share a few of my faves from the Met Gala. Archie's birthday. And let's see. Denise Welch. Oh, gosh. I spelled that wrong, didn't I? It should be with an E. Yeah, Denise Welch. Explodes. At least it's spelled right on the where it matters. So that's okay then. All right. I don't think we'll be here for more than an hour. One of the squatties posted this, and this is like my favorite image of Archie with his nanny. It's Prince Archie's birthday. Happy birthday to you. Yes, I love that. Let's see. Leg says, B, no stiff upper lip like that family. Use CarMax. Oh my goodness. I am in agony with this thing. Agony. Right on the side. I don't even remember when I've done it, but thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, this kind of caught me off guard. And I don't remember this happening to me as much when I was younger. Of course, that was long. Hey, Nubian Queen, long time ago. Dutch Me Not, hello. Yes, happy birthday, Prince Archie. Oh, and let's see. Adrian Burrow, thank you so much. All right. And okay, so this has been interesting. There are dueling. There we go. there are dueling, well, not dueling, but there are two fundraisers, and that caused a bit of confusion. Plus, I did not mention that there was someone who actually perpetrated a fraud with the fundraising. Um, they quickly closed down the Twitter account, and because it didn't really affect so many people um, over, on YouTube, I didn't bother to mention it because most of you guys are not on the Twitter, and plus the squatties on Twitter, the regulars on Twitter, they quickly created an alert, which I think most of us shared. But okay, so that triggered me, and it reminded me of something. So please, whatever you do not send myself, do not send any other content creator your credit card number. If you have a problem with these fundraisers, please speak to a family member or a close friend who is competent and trustworthy that can help you. Because I remember one of the other content creators for one of the fundraisers a very long time ago, probably 3 years ago, one of the squatties sent her credit card number because she needed some help trying to contribute to the fundraiser. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Make sure you use the direct link for the fundraiser because, first of all, you don't want to, it's not fair to the content creator to all of a sudden find themselves exposed to your information. And then, of course, in a indirect way, now they're responsible for your information. So don't do that. So just so we're clear, I'm not trying to scare anybody into not contributing. This is why I didn't mention it before, because I figured it might cause confusion. But now that I have articulated a message that makes sense, just make sure you use the direct link, just like you use a direct link for the super chats or, buy me a coffee or whatever. You use direct links for all sorts of things, but don't send your private information to the content creator because that sets a bad precedence for yourself, because you just should never do that. And unfortunately, one of the people that that I watched on one of the news reports, someone asked to take over his computer, just like his son would often do from another city when this poor pensioner was having problems. And so he didn't think that it was a big security breach for himself because, well, his son did that all the time. Well, unfortunately, it should have only ever been his son to do something like that. And all of his information was exposed to someone in another country in some cyber cafe. So I hate to start off scaring you guys about this, but it's just so important. And, you don't want to lose everything you have because of a mistake. But using the direct links from a trusted source is probably the most appropriate thing to do. So it's the safest thing to do. So, okay. Just so we're clear. And anyway, so this is the link that we've already used from yesterday. So let me grab the other one, the alternative link for the other fundraiser, which I'm going to share with you right now. By the way, the one True Patriot Love has exceeded $30,000. And congratulations to Grandma on Twitter, because she had, for hours, she has been hosting a live fundraiser. And the watercolors, the artwork that I always share. Oh my goodness, what is her name? Oh, Noyes. something Noyes. Anyway, they auctioned some of her artwork and raised, I don't know, I'm guessing about $10,000 today. And you are the sole owner of that artwork. And what that means is you can print it out. And if anyone else tries to print that work, or if anyone else tries to share that work, I think you would be in breach of copyright or something to that effect. But there are ways nowadays where you can take ownership of artwork electronically. I mean, these are modern times, and that's just what they do. And so they had an auction for several of her artworks. And normally I would share them with you, but I didn't want to do that today because they're, auctioning the artwork. And it just didn't seem appropriate to share it with you while people are spending a lot of money for the fundraiser. So for that reason, I'm just not going to share it. But it was some beautiful things based on situations with the Sussexes, like them speaking to that young lady with the phone on speaker, and probably everything that you've already seen. But yeah, it was very, very, very cool. And so congratulations to Grandma for facilitating the event, because it was fantastic. Oh, wow. There was 1,000 people that protest at the Met Gala. I did not see that. Just noticed that just now. Interesting. Okay. So anyway, I hope I didn't confuse anyone, but I just want you guys to be safe when you're, doing certain things online. Any of us can be had, and I do mean any of us, young or old. But in particular, there are people that, okay. Oh, okay. So there's one of the links right there. I'm going to pin this one, then I'll change it to the other one, which I'll do that in a little while. But there's the other one there on the right side, Sussex Squad Africa. You can see we are supporting Inc. with Wink Wazi. The Early Childhood Development Center, supported by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex in that interesting place right there, Cape Town. So if you remember when the Sussexes were visiting South Africa, they went several places, but this is one of the places that they visited. So again, I'll get that link for you later. And also, if you don't mind, let me also make sure that I promise to put it on the community tab later, but look for this particular flyer that you see here, Sussex Squad Africa. Now, to make sure you got the right one, make sure you go to the community tab for Royal Sussex, and I will carefully place the proper link for that in due time. Okay, just want to make sure, because people have been wondering, well, how come you haven't said anything about fundraisers yet? Because of the situation that I just mentioned, and I just wanted to make sure that I got it right. And yeah, so there was a spot of bother, if you will, or a bit of confusion with the fundraisers. And it just goes to show you that there are some rogue elements that observe everything that happens with the Sussex Squad day after day. In other words, there are people watching us and listening to us and monitoring us and trying to learn our ways and our habits. Some of them are from the media, and I would imagine that they're not the ones committing fraud, but then there's others like the derangers that are usually up to no good. So just make sure you're careful. Okay, I don't see Love Wins Movement. I hope they were able to get in and that they haven't been blocked again. Also, yesterday, I set the troll spray for 3 days, but I'm going to go back to 7 days, which is what I did today, because I just think 7 is better. So if you are a troll and you want to give me the what for, make sure you're very patient and you wait 7 days after you first subscribe. And also, please don't forget to hit that like button while you're socking it to me. Again, make sure you hit that like button so that way you can tell me exactly what you think of me and where I could stuff it and all of those little nasty things that you've been wanting to say and you just didn't know how you were ever going to get a chance to do it. All I'm saying is be patient and you can say whatever you want after 7 days. That is in the live chat. And then after that, then we'll block you and then you have to create another account or something like that. Okay. But again, don't forget to hit the like button or don't forget to hit the thumbs down so that we'll know how you feel. Okay. We just want your engagement here at Royal Sussex. All right. So, with that being said, I'm going to move on. And, okay. All right. Excellent. There we go. Oh, by the way, take a look on the left side. Now, I don't know if that is a real billboard, likely in Times Square, but it is very cool. And I, mm, I'm kind of thinking it's not a real billboard. It looks fun, but I just don't think that's a real billboard because of the way the balloons are hanging off the side. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I just don't think it's the real McCoy. But it's fun. It's fun. I like the picture itself. All right. So let's get into the Met Gala, shall we? Kim too thin, but then again, they seem to think a lot of people are too thin, but Kim in particular. Um, well, no, maybe they're just got that reserved for Kim because of the reflective dress that she's wearing and whatever corset she's wearing. Plus, she did lose a lot of weight. Um, Her waistline is almost non-existent. I mean, it's very, very narrow. I think if you were to take a measuring tape to it, there's just not much there. EB Lynn. Yeah, you know what, Lydia? Why don't I just put the other link up there now if you have access to it? If not, I can just grab it really fast. Let me see here. Not to worry. It should be easy. I can I know where to go to look for it. I'll do that now because we do have the other one on the community tab. And let's see here. It shouldn't take long. Let me just make sure I got the right one. Okay. Yeah, see, people are sharing the flyer, but I don't know who's sponsoring the other one. And I'm just not sure which way to look for it. Okay, let me try this one. This should be reliable. Give me just a second and I'll grab the other link. Yeah, we just can't have two things pinned at the same time. So, oh, you have it already. Okay, never mind. Thank you. Okay, so this is the one. Okay, replace pin message. There we go. Now it's at the top of the chat. So that's the alternative or the other fundraiser for South Africa. So I'll leave that one up there and then intermittently, perhaps I'll change it in a little while. So yes, there's the other one. Thank you so much, Lydia, for posting that. Okay, there you go. All right. So anyway, back to the Met Gala. Um, I think those are two of her sisters, right? Two of or is that three of Kim K's sisters? And then of course there's J Lo second to the left, who looks fantastic. I'm telling you, her 50s are her new 30s. She still looks incredibly youthful. And it's so funny when you think about it that J Lo is the age of the Golden Girls from the television show. When they first started that show, um, I think at least one of them had just turned 50, or was it 48? So just think about the way some of these people have been holding back their father time in comparison to um, the age of the Golden Girls when that show first started. I mean, that is I, I'm speechless because they just look so youthful. Okay, season one of the Golden Girls. Okay, are you ready for this? Rose Nyland, Betty White, was 55 years old. Dorothy Spornak, B. Arthur, was 53 years old. Blanche Devereaux, Rue McClanahan, was 47 years old. And Sophia Petrillo, okay, this has got to be a typo because I know she was the youngest on the crew. So let me see. The main character is going to go late 40s. Okay, so her character was 79. But anyway, the other three, they were in their 50s. That is incredible. That is incredible. Wow. And look at J Lo. Look at J Lo. Oh, J Lo will be 55 next month. I still remember when she turned 50. I guess that has been a while ago because she wore that famous dress that had the split down the front. My goodness. Huh. Okay, so in case you don't know it, um, when the Golden Girls started, um, the the oldest one in the group was actually Betty White. And interestingly enough, she was the last to die in real life. And the youngest of the group in real life was Estelle Getty, who played the oldest in the group. And she, ironically, was the first to pass away. So, wowee. Wowee. That's all I can say is wow. That never isn't interesting to me. It's just I'm very fascinated by that. So, just for a little visual, take a good look at J Lo and take a look at these ladies. Woo! Take a look at J Lo and take a look at these ladies. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Now, Estelle Getty, Sophia Petrillo, she's the one on the far right side. She went through a lot of makeup. And she actually went and got a facelift while they were on hiatus. And when she came back, when the show got picked up for another season, when she came back, they were just like, why did you do that? But yeah, so that is just, you guys, just take a second to wrap your heads around that. just take a second to wrap your heads around the idea that J Lo could have been one of the Golden Girls. How could that work? How could that work? Although, you know what? They really should do a another Golden Girls. And and the Golden Girls should be like, you know, people that were big pop stars that have retired. Yeah. Instead of retiring to Florida, maybe they should retire to San Diego or some retirement community or something. But are you sure J Lo is 55? Because some of those senior housing, 55 is the age in which they let you that you're old enough to move in. My goodness. I'm just okay. Let me go on because I could sit here and say I'm just shocked all day, and we got stuff to cover. So, one last look. Shut the front door. Right? Marshall, I agree with you. I agree with you. She needs to just sit there on the sofa with them and oh wow. Okay. Anyway, so again, Betty White was the oldest at the start of the show, and Estelle Getty was the youngest. Both of them on the right side there. Okay, moving on. So, Kaling, Mindy Kaling. Wow, look at that outfit. Look at that outfit. It's like fire and music. It is like fire and music. I love it. What do you guys think of this look? And before you say anything, that is the back of it on the left side. So Mindy Kaling, that is the front, and on the left, that is the back. Now, I'm not doing every outfit. I'm just like really like attaching myself to the ones that I thought was the most interesting. Um E.B. Lynn, I don't I know that Estelle Getty used makeup, but I think the other ones I don't think they used much makeup. I don't think they use makeup to make themselves look any different. Betty White was over 60. And B. Arthur, well, she had some very strong features. And yeah, I don't think that they did anything to make them look older. They dressed like ladies of that era. So, mm, I mean, they would have been in their 20s back in the 1950s. Teenagers are in their 20s. No, not the 50s, the 40s. Betty White was one of the first television stars. Oh well. Okay. So I mean, it's okay if you have any more comments. I'm gonna just keep moving on. But let's see. Mindy looks like a princess. So beautiful. Thank you, Tamara. Now the theme was Sleeping Beauty Awakening in the Garden. I think that was the theme for this year's Met Gala was Sleeping Beauty being kissed and awakened in the garden. So it's a fairy tale theme, and definitely there's a garden theme, and then there's the whole Sleeping Beauty fairy tale garden thing. So yeah, I think that is beautiful. And on the right side, that is Taylor Russell. I don't know who she is, but The reason why I'm sharing her image is because all of the gowns were supposed to play up on the idea that they're made from natural elements or natural materials. And this gown has a what is it? The bodice and the like tunic collar. It's wood, and if it's not wood, it is made to look like wood, covered with some kind of vines. Now, I do have a close-up image that I'll share with you later, but I thought it was very interesting. I mean, it's very pretty anyway, but I thought it was very interesting. And remember, these outfits are not practical. You're not going to wear this to your prom or anything like that, although some people would. But this is wearable art. The whole idea is that the Met Gala is raising funds for the costume portion of the museum. They have a museum that is dedicated to costumes. And so that's why everything looks very costumey, is because it's not supposed to be practical, it's supposed to be over the top. And sometimes people look at the Met Gala and they're just like, that looks stupid. No, it's just art. It's wearable art. None of this stuff you're meant to ever wear to like a red tie or something like that. Although some of the outfits are definitely, um, wearable to other events, but it's just a night to be creative and have fun. Mindy got the assignment. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. And of course, this is Kiki Palmer. I don't know what about that is actually part of the theme. And some people don't really stick with the theme itself, but it's very beautiful. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I didn't watch the interviews as they were going in, where they would. I mean, it looks like she has something that resembles baby breath on the side of her face there, coming from her hair and the side of her face, and the very long ponytail is super interesting. Uh, but yeah, yeah, I like that. And okay, so it looks like I did. Why did I have Taylor Russell there? Who did I say she was before? Okay, Taylor Russell. Okay, I put her here twice by mistake. But there's Aurora James on the left side. And as you can see, Aurora James looks absolutely thrilled to be there. And I want you to take notice of her gown, which is also, it's either made with wood at the top or something that was designed to resemble wood. So I do have some close ups of these so that you can see them up close. I'll show that to you down the line. But I thought it was very interesting. I mean, they are beautiful gowns. Either way, they are beautiful gowns. So when I say that they're interesting, it doesn't mean that I don't think they're beautiful or whatever, but it's just very creative. I love to see when they do something super unique like that. Now, I'm just going to do a little flashback. I have my favorite look of all times from the Met Gala, and this one from 2022. Blake Lively is still my all time favorite. The assignment, she understood it and it was executed flawlessly. The theme was New York rich or New York 19 whatever it was, but the gown is reversible. And so when she first comes in, she's wearing the Carper color, which, if you understand what she's doing there, when the Statue of Liberty was first built, first created from the original sculpture, and they just sized it up, it was made with a skin of Carper, and it's about the thickness of a penny. And as the Carper oxidize, of course, it turns green. And that green actually protects the statue from the element. So you don't ever really want to clean it because then you're stripping away some of the protection. And so she comes in with, you see the big bow on the back there. And then when the bow is undone, then out comes that oxidized green color. And I still say it is my all time favorite because number one, it is super beautiful. Number two, it definitely sticks to the theme. And number three is the fact that it is absolutely clever. I mean to tell you, whoever thought of this one, I forgot who the designer was, but that is like, I would say it was like winning the World Series. It was winning a championship. That is everything. And you know what? I didn't realize that the gloves changed. I guess she switched gloves or whatever. And mind you, she did this right on the steps. She was there on the steps, and then they pulled that bow loose or undone the bow, however they did it, and then just dropped it out. See there? Oh, okay. I can see the kid right here is taking her gloves off. This is a moment. Now, this is from 2022, but I'm just throwing this in there because I have a captive audience and I love talking about this gown. That is the most amazing thing. That is the most amazing thing. It doesn't have any like other parlor tricks like lights or anything electric or anything like that. No LEDs, but you come in there looking like a big piece of carper, and then all of a sudden you look like a oxidized, like a piece of carper or whatever, like a penny. So that, and plus the color, that carper color is just so unusual. It almost looks like rose gold, but it's just very unusual. Gilded Age theme. Oh, thank you, Kathy G. Yes, it was the New York Gilded Age. There you go. Thank you so much. New York Gilded Age. So let's go back here one more time and take a look. And off comes the gloves. And then I don't know if she had those on underneath or not, but oh, it looks like she had them on beneath the other gloves because see how loose they are? So she must have had them on already. And then when you pull off the top glove, then you have that look. So, okay. That I'm let me stop gushing over this gown. But I'm telling you, it is my all-time Met Gala favorite. And there are some very nice, beautiful gowns, but this one you could actually wear to whatever event. You could wear that to the Oscars or whatever. I mean, it's not just art, it's also very functional. Okay. And you know what? I forgot to get the name of this person. Do I have the name anywhere? I don't know who that is. But as you can see, I do like things that are, that do something. So she comes out looking um like a blackbird, like a what do you call it? A crow with the wings all pulled in, and then when it's undone, it drops into that train, and then you can see the pattern of the crow on the gown and everything. So yeah, very, very, very cool. And then of course there is Zendaya. Zendaya. Now, unfortunately, from a distance, that gown, even though the cut is extraordinary, it looks kind of dull. But don't worry, I got a close up so you can see the details. See, Bella, thank you so much for being here. Yeah, I do have a close up so you can see the details better. But I believe there's hummingbirds somewhere on the gown. but that is beautiful. The eyebrow is very minimized, and it's a very dramatic. It looks very French. It looks very couture, and she did a costume change. She actually got out of that outfit and put this one on. So it's kind of hard. I tried to find a good photo with the details, but you see the flowers on her head. When you buy flowers, you know how they take the paper and they create a cone, and the flowers are just wrapped in that paper. Well, the cone itself, the paper is, or should I say, is actually fabric, is black. And so what you can't see from here, do you see the photo on the left? Do you see how you see that extra black fabric sticking out? Well, what's coming out the other side there are the stems of the flowers that you see on her head. So it's kind of like she has a bundle of flowers laying on top of her head. So it's a very clever hat that was made to go with the outfit. Otherwise, I don't know what the theme of this dress is. I mean, I see the flowers, so it's obviously part of the whole Sleeping Beauty thing. But anyway, it's Zendaya. It's very difficult not to love anything that she's wearing. And Kiki Palmer, right? No, no, no. Kerry Washington. Kerry Washington. Love the purple velvet. Love the train of flowers that, it kind of comes down her hip on the left side of her. And then it just descends into this train of flowers. And that one is very beautiful. Now, you know what? You know what? If you went to a like a wedding at nighttime, an after six wedding, you could wear that to that wedding. Long as it's not in the church, because I'm kind of conservative, and I always cringe when I see people go to a church wedding with their shoulders out. I think that is poor taste. And if and I know bridesmaids do that all the time, that is very poor taste. It is not good. What do you call it? Um, Not protocol. What's the other one I'm trying to say? Anyway, I think it's kind of tacky. I'm, if you're that person, grab a, what is it, a pershmia or a shawl or something like that. But going into a church with your shoulders out is kind of tacky. When you go into someone's wedding, remember that is someone's wedding, not a hooker convention. It's a wedding. Okay? Remember, it's a wedding, not a hooker convention. Okay. So, but yeah, so that is beautiful. So you could definitely wear that. Etiquette. Thank you, Lydia. That's the word I was looking for. It's not good etiquette. So, again, if you're going to a church wedding, whether you're the bride or whoever you are, you should have your shoulders covered. Let me see. I'm Catholic, and when I go to receive communion during the summer, I throw on a pashmina or a shirt. Absolutely. And if when you're traveling to Europe, a lot of the cathedrals that are open up to tourists, short pants, right? They're more tolerant now, but short pants and bare shoulders are usually not tolerated. Um, Also, I remember when I went to Notre Dame that first time, the guy tapped me on my shoulder and told me to take my hat off. And I was like, oh, yes, yes, thank you so much. And then, of course, I apologized. So, you know what happened after that, right? I was the hat police. When I was in Bath, England, I was in the Bath Cathedral, and this guy was just like, excuse me. And I pointed to his hat, to my head to tell him to take his hat off. So now I'm the hat police. Now I am the hat police. I'm looking for an offender every time I go into a cathedral or some place of worship so that I can be the first one to tell them that they're being disrespectful. Please remove your hat. Right?
Police! 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 Help! Police! Help! Police! Help! Help! Police! Help!
Okay, decorum. I like that too. Thank you very much. Yeah, but yeah, so that's a beautiful gown and you could wear it, to a lot of different occasions, but I don't know, because of the color, I'm thinking that would be really cool for a wedding. Long as it's at a banquet hall and not in a house of worship. And this is it Gigi Hadid? Um, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. Um, it has three-dimensional flowers, but that is beautiful. And it has the corset bodice, or is it? Well, it's got the corset part there. But yeah, that is really cool. That is really cool. I like the way that the beading around the end of the dress, and the way that the beading goes around the different folds of the dress. I thought that was pretty cool. It's kind of a crumpled thing that's going on, but it's cool. And of course, oh my goodness, how did I just forget her name? Um, what's her name? The one dating Jeff Bezos. Oh man, and I knew it earlier, and I just totally blanked out again. But anyway, she looks good. There's like some mirror. It's almost like a broken porcelain, or there's like something that looks like mirrors in there. And oh yeah, Lauren Sanchez. Thank you so much, Lauren Sanchez. I think she looks beautiful. And you know what looks better on her than even that dress? Her boyfriend, her boyfriend Jeff Bezos. She wears him very well. I'm telling you, he is the most valuable accessory in the room. $177 billion. He is currently the wealthiest man in the world. Now, when you count wealth, I'm just going to say this in case you've never heard this before. Surely the Sultan of Brunei and a lot of other people have more money than Jeff Bezos, right? If you are a sovereign ruler, then of course you probably have a lot of wealth that cannot even be calculated. Okay. But when Forbes magazine and other sources, when they give you a figure and they say, this is what so and so is worth, it's a working income that you count. Like Charles, he doesn't have a working income. So the little money that he gets yearly from the Duchy of Lancaster and the sovereign grant, not even worth counting, because that doesn't even tell you how much he's worth. He doesn't really have a working income. Well, he does have a working income, but not in a traditional way. So to be born rich and to just be rich for the sake of it, they don't consider that as a working income. Jeff Bezos has a working income. It rises and falls according to the stock market and all those other factors. So that is why he is considered the wealthiest man in the world, because of a working income. And is that Nicki Minaj? No, that's why do I always confuse those two? That is what's her name? Let me see, Nicki Minaj, and then what's this one's name? Cardi B. Whew, I got it, Cardi B. Thank you, Nasdaq. I just took me a minute. Cardi B. I always confuse the two of them, but you guys, that is a look. That is quite a look. And of course, she had to strike a pose. Now, I'm not sure that that is supposed to be hair or if that is a type of turban or some type of hat. But yeah, that is pretty cool. And then take a look at that. I mean, the whole lower level there was completely flooded with that gown. It looks like some type of lace or whatever. Not lace, but whatever. What is that sheer fabric called? Anyway, that it's okay. It's beautiful. It is. It is very beautiful. Yeah, right, Boo Boo. She always looks beautiful. Always. And then, of course, up the steps we go. Up the steps we go. I got one that's coming up. You guys are going to you're going to be in awe of it. You are going to be in awe. Let me see. Is that one coming up next? By the way, if you want to see these photos, go to Variety. Variety, they have the best photos there. They don't have like photos from every angle, but whatever type of camera they used or whatever, the photos that they have are the most beautiful. It's actually like you feel like you're in the room instead of having, the floodlights kind of washing out everything. They had some beautiful photos. But yeah, that is special. That is amazing. So I promised you a close up, right? And there is your close up. Let me see. This is slide number 22, and the other one was 13. And okay, 22, 13. Okay, 12 and 13. Okay, so you can see the up close. So that's what I was trying to say earlier is that from a distance or on camera, really, and from a distance, Zendaya's gown didn't really go over as nice as it is when you see it up close and personal like that. Up close, you can see is quite beautiful, but from a distance, it was kind of like meh, meh. And then over here on the right, you can see the blackbirds, right? All right. And here we go. And oh wait, there we go. So that is what's her name again? I'm so sorry I didn't get her name. And then there's Zendaya from a distance. And there's Zendaya up close. And I also told you the other two gowns, I would show you those up close. So what appears to be wood up close, it looks like it's wood, especially the one on the left side. The one on the right looks like plastic because even if it is wood, and I don't think it is, it has that very shiny, um, whatever that plastic, epoxy look to it. And then the one on the left, I mean, that just looks like a carved piece of wood. So thought that was absolutely spectacular, but they both look good. And this is the one, Tyler from South Africa, I believe. Um, she is covered in what appears to be sand. Now that is something natural. Sleeping Beauty, one of the things that was in the fairy tale, I believe, was an hourglass. And what goes through an hourglass? Sand. So she is covered with the sand from the hourglass. And Cardi B, just like Zendaya, she did a costume change. So I believe that was her first look of the night. And then she came back at the end with the black dress on. So definitely the black dress is way more beautiful. But take a look at the sand. That is the sand dress, right? That is beautiful. And wow, does it look good on her. Now that is a body. That is definitely body, yaddy, 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 body. That is boom, boom, pow. April, May, you're absolutely right. And here's a front view. And as you can see, she is carrying an hourglass filled with sand. So I guess the sand measured the time that Sleeping Beauty was asleep. So that is really, really cool. And this is the artist, um, Oliver Rousting. Um, Look at the top he has on under the jacket. Of course, he's going for a very androgynous look tonight. But look at that shirt or top shirt, tank top. I believe that that is supposed to be his face. That is his face that has been molded with this sand like fabric. Is that not one of the most interesting things you've ever seen? Is that cool or what? I was like, who thinks of something like this? Who thinks of something like this? That is like the coolest something I've ever seen. Well, one of the coolest things. But again, that is definitely wearable art. It is a little creepy, isn't it? It is a little creepy. Mary H says the sand dress is your favorite. Now, I don't know what's going on with the guy behind him, but it looks like somebody's cheeks are out. Yeah. Looks like somebody's wearing something sheer from head to toe back there. I don't know who that is. And of course, our faves could not be there, but if they were, I'm sure they would have made quite the impression. If they were there, they would have made quite the impression, I'm sure. Um, because it's Archie's birthday, I'm pretty sure a lot of squatties did not even bother watching because, well, they couldn't be in Montecito where there are no leaks, by the way. They couldn't have been in Montecito and at the Met Gala at the same time. And there's yet another look. If they had like perhaps a military theme or something like that, I don't know. But they would have looked great. They would have looked great. Maybe one of these years they will go. And what if Kate or Camilla had ever gone to the Met Gala? That would be interesting, right? Kate could have worn one of her coat dresses. Camilla could have gone with her arms all splayed out like she's about to attack someone. Oh yes, the Royal Rota. It would be immaculate conception. They would have all have given birth, right? They would have been dropping those babies left and right. Or how about Charles and his emotional support, Camilla? Now, they would have been very interesting on the red carpet. I don't know who would help Camilla up the steps, but they would have, oh, grim fairy tale, evil stepmother. You get a bell for that. And of course, Kate with her country cottage kitchen curtain. Now, that would have been perfect for this year's theme. She could have gone as a bunch of vines or whatever. Kate Country Cottage kitchen curtains. Yeah, she'd have fit right in. As a matter of fact, she would have just melted into the background. And they weren't the only people in costumes at the Met Gala. Check out Queen Mary of Denmark and the Queen of, what is it, Norway? Or Sweden, the Queen of Sweden and the King of Sweden. Check them out. They had a big dinner, a state dinner or whatever, to welcome the new heads of the new King and Queen of Denmark. Oh yeah, Kate could have been a complete forest, a complete ecosystem. Now, let's get on to Denise's meltdown. Denise Welch was not having it. Do you hear me? She was not having it. Denise is fed up with the nonsense, and she did not mind giving old Dickie Arbiter the what for. Dickie Arbiter was there with the party line as per usual, and Denise Welch, well, she's had enough of it. I mean, she's sick of it. Do you hear me? Sick! She's absolutely sick of it. So let me grab that soundbite for you. But this has been the talk of the town. By the way, you all, the lady with the sundress, there's actually a video where getting her up the steps was not so easy. So I don't know who this guy was. He looks like one of the security guys. He literally put his hands around her delicate little waist and hoisted her up the steps while other people carried the end of the gown. That was very cool. Now, you know, I would have paid good money for Lizzo to wear that gown. I wish Lizzo was wearing that sand dress. Really, I wish. What's your favorite Nigerian artist right now? I wish that was Lizzo in the sand dress. Yes, yes, yes. Who's your favorite Nigerian artist right now? Okay, okay. That's not nice, you guys. All right, so let me find that sound bite for you. Well, the sound quality is not great, of course, but here goes. Of him meeting up with the king and Harry is going to be flying over. Do you think there's any hope of him meeting up with the king and reconciling anything? That's a very difficult one. I'm sure your audience here, many of them are parents. I'm a parent, and we would like to make up. But what is going on between our children and us is not being played out in the public arena. And with the king and the rest of the royal family, it is. Harry has been rubbishing the family since they walked out in 2020. We had in 21, we had Oprah. We had at the end of 22, 6 hours of Netflix. And then we had at the beginning of 23, 600 pages of We did, Dickie, but if I may say as well, do you not think there is a reason why Harry did such a thing? You know, you've got, in my opinion, and I know I don't know the royal family like you do, but, you know, his dad married Diana when he was in love with Camilla. And so, you know, ruined a lot of Diana's life because of his affair with Camilla. So this young boy who then witnesses the death of his mother, who was forced to walk publicly in front of the world behind his dead mother's coffin and accept this woman that he doesn't like as his stepmother. Then he has a wife who is completely and continually trashed by the media, including your good self, if I may say, when in fact she was on a world stage doing a lot of good for a lot of people before she met this guy. And I am just sick to death of the bashing that this woman gets. Everybody's happy to say the bashing that the other royal family members get. Hardly any of you mention Andrew, and yet we continually, every day, berate this woman. And I think when her children grow up and see what she goes through, I think Harry had a bloody good reason to write that book, in my opinion.
I'm not going to argue with you, because that's not what I'm here for. You have.
Well, you put your side and I put my side.
You put your side, but if I may say, you ever been reading too many tabloid stories?
No, I haven't actually, and don't disrespect me for saying that, because I have read a lot about Meghan before as well, and I think it's a disgrace the way she's treated.
Well, that is an opinion. It is also a disgrace in the way that they treated the rest of the royal family. There are people here.
They had no comeback. They had no other comeback. Well,
they did actually. They didn't have to walk out. They did walk out.
Why would they not walk out? Why would they want to spend their life in a country that hated them?
We don't want to come on here and have a debate, really. We want to know, how is Charles doing now? What is the future for Charles? Where is he moving on for? It's not a debate.
Don't have a guest on and say, I can say what I like.
I'm not saying you can't.
That's fair enough.
Thank you, Dickie. Thank you.
You can. I would like to see a rapprochement between Harry and his dad. Unfortunately, whatever happens between Harry and his dad will be played out in the public arena. And it won't take long to get out there. There's no privacy. There's privacy between you and children, me and my daughter, and the audience and their children. But there isn't any privacy between Harry and his dad and William and what have you. And until such time there is privacy, until such time they can heal that rift, without it getting out into newspapers or on television, it's going to continue as a rift. And quite frankly, there's been a lot of angst from the Sussexes towards the royal family. And I think there needs to be a bit of apology. Yes, you can rubbish your family up to a point, but it was relentless. And there needs to be an apology. They were public in their criticism of the family. They now need to be public in their apology to the family.
They may be not sorry.
Maybe they're not sorry. That's your opinion.
That's my opinion.
I don't know.
Well,
and I wouldn't hazard an opinion either.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for asking.
Interesting. It was a great debate, actually, and I'm sure people will agree and disagree about the Royals forevermore. But thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for
So there you go. That has had Denise Welch trending all day. And Gwendolyn Daniels, I am so disappointed. You forgot to throw dirty. Old dirty. You got to throw dirty in there too. How could you be so careless? Now write it again and don't forget to throw dirty in there. Anyway, so Denise said what she said, and I agree with her. And like she said, maybe they're not sorry. Sorry could only happen, in my opinion, if you were not the one that had been victimized. But they have been the victim of constant leaking and briefing. And the devastating effects of the leaking and the briefing has cost them a child, an unborn child. It has caused them a lot of anguish and anxiety, lots of hurt feelings. And they don't have an army. And I cannot say this enough. There is a standing army for William and for Charles. They have the tabloid media, and they also have people that they have recruited in the media, and even some elected officials in the Republican Party here in the U.S. That say and repeat and have made accusations, even up to the point of having the president of the United States at the time, the Orange Menace, saying things which I count at least 3 times that he said some dodgy stuff. And the truth is, he doesn't care about Harry and Meghan. He does not have a notion about them. He only says things that is going to move the dial for him, which is why he doesn't talk about them night and day. But it's because of those, Rupert Murdoch reporters that was in the White House pool and otherwise then that is how they inject those things in there. So they have been very strategic, but they have an army of people that do their bidding. But the Sussexes also have an army of people like you and me that have pushed back time and time again. And there's just a handful of celebrities and notable people that will take up the fight on any given occasion. And Denise Welch happens to be one of them. And she herself, and I wish she would have said this to Dickie Arbiter. Dickie Arbiter is full of opinions, but Dickie Arbiter has never been targeted by the tabloid media. Denise Welch has been targeted by the tabloid media. And so she knows full well, she has a complete understanding of how you can be misrepresented, and also how you can have your personal information leaked by the tabloid media, as they have done to her. I believe that cost her years of relationship with her sister because of something that they leaked. So she knows what she's talking about. Dickie Arbiter has always been on the other side of it. Nobody has come after Dickie Arbiter except for that time when those pranksters come after him. I don't know, whenever this is a privileged white man in a position where he has never, ever been the victim of it. If he was someone who was on the other side of things and they still have this negative opinion about the Sussexes, then, I can't agree with that, but I could at least say, well, at least they know what that's like. He hasn't been through any of that. And that's why a long time ago, Omid Scobie said, nice, another white man talking about a black woman. And that's what he does. He sits there time and time again, and he's being paid. He's being paid, and I don't think enough people in the public understands that everyone on that panel, including Denise, they're being paid. They're paid invited guests for their opinions. And in Dickie's case, it's not his personal opinion. He doesn't care one way or the other. He is representing the royal family. And so for the sake of his relationship with the royal family, he will never go hungry. He will always have a paycheck. His proximity to the royal family has served him very well, even up until the point of raising his daughter in Kensington Palace, in one of those grace and favor apartments or cottages, whichever it was. So he's doing well. And I think people get the notion that people like Dickie just comes down there because he's fed up and he just wants to set the record straight. No, he's being paid. He wouldn't have so much of an opinion if he wasn't being paid. He'd be doing something else. Lex says, I'm sorry. Is this ever going to talk? I'll be there. You're talking about Brenda. Yeah, Brenda does a whole bunch of looks left and right. She doesn't talk so much. There's been a couple times when she has really gone there, but for the most part, and when they, what do I always say about The View? Same thing I say about Loose Women. This is all theater. This is all theater. The most raw emotion that you ever see on that panel usually comes from Denise and occasionally Brenda. But other than that, they're usually just throwing these words back and forth. And of course, it is usually the party line. They don't deviate from that party line. Thank you very much, Legs. And when I say the party line, of course, I mean the monarchist, royalist trash. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Gwendolyn Daniels. All right, man. Trying to be nice, but for you, yes, the ODB. That's right. The ODB. Thank you very much for that. Let me see. Yeah. Who would stay in that family after they walked out? And see, Legs, you know as well as I do, they walked out, trigger. I'm a parent, you're a parent, and as a parent, that's another trigger. Every emotional cue that he had at his disposal, he used it. He used it. And that was a way, because, you know, I don't have the best command of the English language, but I know the words that I hear and I recognize what's going on. So I know.
Flying over. Do you think there's any hope of him meeting up with the king and reconciling anything?
That's a very difficult one. I'm sure your audience here, many of them are parents. I'm a parent, and we would like to make up. But what is going on between our children and us is not being played out in the public arena. And with the king and the rest of the royal family, it is. Harry has been rubbishing the family since they walked out in 2020.
And Harry and Meghan said absolutely nothing about that family until 2021. As Harry said, we did not say anything for an entire year, hoping that they would leave us alone. Harry said, we didn't say anything. And so a year to the day of the last time that they were with that family, which was March of 2020, it was March of 2021 when they sat down with Oprah. You know, I can't put that responsibility on Denise. And plus, they wouldn't allow her to do what I'm doing right now anyway. But Dickie Arbiter knows that Harry and Meghan had their backs against the wall. But because they are on television and because this is theater, you're just not allowed to have those types of exchanges. But there's plenty people that could mop the floor with him in the Sussex squad, but you never get the opportunity to do it. So what is there, 1,589 people in here? This is about as good as it gets for me right now. And, you know, and anyone else who knows to push back, but that's as good as it gets. And that's really sad, but it's true. That's as good as it gets. But the royalists and the monarchists and the Brexiteers that are sitting in their kitchens or on their sofa or whatever watching this, they just had to drink that blatant lie from Dickie Arbiter. They began trashing them from the moment they stepped out. That's a lie.
In 21, we had Oprah. We had at the end of 22, 6 hours of Netflix. And then we had at the beginning of 23, 600 pages of
We did, Dickie, but if I may say as well, do you not think there is a reason why Harry did such a thing? You know, you've got, in my opinion, and I know I don't know the royal family like you do, but, you know, his dad married Diana when he was in love with Camilla.
Okay, so I'm going to leave that part there. But, you know, she just barely touched on it, but there is a reason. And partly is the fact that, you know, Harry, you know, and it would have been nice if she would have just said what Harry said about her being very dangerous and the way that she has gone after him and the way she has gone after William, because a lot of William's private interactions with Camilla became tabloid fodder. And a lot of most everything negative that has happened between Charles and his two sons is based on Charles' need to rehabilitate his public image. Most of that is also based on Camilla's need to rehabilitate her public image. And so every day, while Charles and Camilla are alive, they are burying Diana's memory deeper and deeper and deeper. Even on the Diana Awards Day, there's barely a mention because these tabloids have their allegiance directed toward the king and the queen consort. What should be in the occasions where you recognize Diana's achievements in life, they don't even mention it. They barely mention it. They will talk about her fashions. They will talk about her boyfriends. They'll talk about a lot of things, but they don't give Diana her flowers. And that's part of their need to rewrite the history, as Lex has said several times. They're rewriting the history, and they're trying to bury Diana's memory as deep as possible. And it's really sad because Diana was the salvation of that family in the 1980s. Because as things were becoming, the 1980s was the dynasty decade. It was Ronald Reagan. It was conspicuous consumption. It was all about shoulder pads, bling bling, and all kind of things. And Diana was so glamorous that she was able to represent that for that aging relic of an institution, thus keeping them relevant by giving them a fairy tale in the modern age. And in exchange for all of the great things that she gifted to that family, what she gets in return is buried deeper and deeper. They have completely created a characterization of Diana that is not accurate at all. None of it. So it's too bad. And Dickie Arbiter, he was there. He was there. It fascinates me that someone who watched Harry grow up could brutalize him on television like this. And he's not the only one. There's several of them. They watched that child grow up. And for the sake of a few pounds, they will go on television and brutalize him and his wife and his children. And this is not one person. Dickie Arbiter is the face of Great Britain. For people like me outside of the UK, he is the face of Great Britain. He and all of the rest of his ilk, they represent that country. That is what the world sees. Because this is the media, this is the storyline that the media push. Instead of talking about hunger or the NHS or inflation, they're talking about Harry and Meghan. And the worst part is they're getting away with it. They're getting away with it. I'm very frustrated. Thank you again, Legs. And also, someone sent me a Cash App. I don't want to say the name, but JAK. Thank you very much for the Cash App, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Okay. But don't despair, you guys. Don't despair. The thing is, a lot of those old farts are going to die. And Harry, at some point, is going to tell his mother's story. And he's going to tell it the right way. And I hope it's just as biased as possible on Princess Diana's behalf. But he's going to write about his mother. And it's going to be his experience with his mother. And it's also going to be based on actual historic events that he was too young to know about, or perhaps he wasn't actually there when it happened, but it will be more accurate than any of the trash that you get from someone like Dickie Arbiter or Arthur, whatever his name is. Diana's story is going to come out. But these so-called royal experts and royal authors, right now, they're the ones that's telling her story. And fortunately, nobody is really buying their books. Nobody is buying the things that they're saying. There's still plenty of people that know better. And the real Diana is going to go through a bit of a renaissance, and people will learn more about her than what you get from the crown. The crown cannot be the end of it. The crown cannot be the end of it, because if that's the case, then I'm worried. I'm very worried. But I don't think that's going to happen. Harry is going to tell her story. And I know he's going to do it because he's going to do it for the sake of his children. He's going to set the record straight so that there will be a permanent record for the sake of his children. Let's see. Yeah. There's some new recruits there, but a lot of this has to do with Charles and Camilla. Once they are, below street level, once they go below street level, there's going to be a different point of view. Just as easily as the world seems to have moved on and forgotten about Queen Elizabeth II, what do you think is going to happen when Willie, with his very fragile ego, William is going to do the same thing to Charles that Charles has done with his mother? He's going to bury her really deep, and she'll be forgotten about. And that's what's going to happen with Charles and Camilla. They're going to get buried really deep, and they'll be forgotten about. There's not going to be many people looking fondly back on those two. But right now, because of them and because of their need to reform their public image, Diana has to be sacrificed again and again and again. But that's not sustainable. It's not going to last forever. And, these things come in cycles. And at some point, there's going to be a second, third, or fourth look at Diana's memory that is going to set the record straight, and a whole new generation of younger people are going to get to know Princess Diana. And the reason why I know that it is going to be more profound than anybody could think right now is because Diana died young. Diana died young, and people can identify with her. The younger people will identify with her, but they can never identify with Charles and Camilla, no matter how much they try. So when they're gone, they will be quickly forgotten about. They will be yesterday's news. Queen's former press secretary blasts Harry's questionable recollections. And as I said many times, Nicholas Witchell and Dickie Arbiter, both of them seem like they could have been the prototype for the painting Scream. You know what I mean? They both have that really nasty looking pie hole in the middle of their face. They remind me of Scream. When the artist rendered that image, he must have known that somewhere in the future, he must have had a premonition of something foul and frightening and warped that was coming down the pike, that was going to, haunt the earth for however long. But like I said, when they're gone, they're gone. And Diana's memory is going to live again. So I have another soundbite for you. You're going to love this one. Yep. And I am telling you, you're going to love this. Okay. And
Are you quite happy with what King Charles has done so far?
No, absolutely not.
Oh.
I think King Charles, and in fact, I think the entire royal family are just a parasitic drain on the country. I don't think that they deserve the funding that they get from here. In fact, if we call ourselves a democratic country, I wish there was a vote to ask the people of Britain, who are supposed to be paying per head towards the royal purse, whether we would like our money to go to that or whether we'd like our money to go to the NHS.
Well,
I would certainly choose the NHS.
Mary, it's very interesting. There may be in future that vote, but as yet, I don't know whether the sway to get rid of the royals is quite big enough, although you seem to be incredibly passionate about it. What about all the work that Charles has done for the environment, to campaigning for climate change? That's very popular amongst the young people. The things he's done for food banks in order to encourage supermarkets to give their food that's going off to food banks. He has attempted to do some good.
Well, when you talk about food banks, I mean, there shouldn't even be food banks in this country. And he is the person who has amassed this huge fortune. I mean, have you seen the situation up in the north where he was able to take houses that were left by people who left no will in I think it's in Lancashire, and their property went straight to the royal household. Imagine.
I don't actually know the details of that case, but I'm presuming that would be some sort of legal issue there that's
to do with the estate, and
yeah,
perhaps there wasn't a will in place.
Yeah, but I agree, Mary. That sounds like very bad PR for the royals. Thank you.
You know what? Some of them, they could only play ignorant for so long without, I guess, breaking into laughter, because she knows better. She definitely knows better. But instead, she has to, like I say, it's a script. It's a script, and she has to play her part. It's really tedious, but that's the way it goes. They have to play their part. Everybody has a role to play. And, some of them do it better than others, but I think somebody needs to tell her something.
Hey, girl, sit down. Sit down. I know you are jolted because you're...
Yeah, absolutely. There you go. Somebody needs to tell her to sit down. Okay. Oh, you know what else? I haven't given this one the light of day for a while. There's other people that have articulated things in a way that makes sense. How about this one?
But I just don't get it. I don't get any of it.
What do you mean? You don't get what?
I don't get why we're so obsessed with these humans that are exactly the same. Like, it could be us four sitting there. I just don't get it.
But are you talking about what you mean as royals?
I love the Queen.
Like Kim Kardashian. Because for me, they're becoming celebrities.
Well, yeah, to me, that's all they are.
The Queen
is their celebrity.
For me, is brilliant.
I love the Queen.
For duty, responsibility.
She's always worked really hard, hasn't
I would
she?
work hard if the whole country paid for me to have like 12 houses and work really hard.
They don't pay for all of the houses. But
just a few.
I love the Queen. And the one that said that, gosh, does she remind me of the Grinch that stole Christmas? I mean, she looks like she's straight out of Whoville, right? She looks like she's straight out of Whoville. I'm telling you, I've seen that face before. That face I've seen, I have. Oh. Okay. Now, overlooked no more. Sissieretta Jones, a soprano who shattered racial barriers. She was the first African American woman to headline a concert at Carnegie Hall. That was back in 1892. But she didn't care for her stage name, the Black Patty, which compared her to a white diva. Now, I've never heard of her before today, but I'm telling you, she has quite a compelling story. And anyway, I want to share that with you. And then after that, I think we're just about through for today. I don't think I have anything else after that. But let me share this with you. You're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love her.
Now we turn to a...
Nope, that's not it. Let me find the... Okay, here you go.
Hello, my name is Gino Francesconi. I'm the director of the archives in the Rose Museum at Carnegie Hall. Here's a singer, a vocalist, that's been forgotten and shouldn't be. Her name was Sissieretta Jones, and she was known in her day as the Black Patty. That's how she was identified. And Adelina Patti, as you can see here in this program, was one of the great singers of her day, and she was simply known as Patti. And so Sissieretta Jones was known as the Black Patty. And now imagine.
Oh, sorry.
Here was a woman who, at her peak of performing, had sung at the White House, was making $2,000 a week. She divorced her husband and won. She sued her white manager and won. And she was singing around the world. And she was given brooches and medals made out of diamonds and rubies or gold. And she would wear them at every recital like a brigadier general. She would walk out in these astonishing gowns and having all of her awards attached to her gown. And then her mother became ill in Providence, Rhode Island. She gave up everything to be with her mother. She had 4 homes around the country. And when she stopped singing, the money stopped coming in. And one by one, she had to sell her homes. And then one by one, she had to sell these phenomenal medals and brooches. And yet it wasn't enough. And by 1930, she died in poverty and forgotten. And she's buried in Providence, Rhode Island. We were thrilled when we discovered that Howard University had one of only 3 medals that she kept for herself as souvenirs. And one of those medals is one that was given to her at Carnegie Hall. It's an extraordinary piece, and we're grateful to Howard University that they've given it to us on an extended loan where it's on view in the museum on a regular basis.
Yep, I've never heard of her, but, and sadly, there are no recordings. There are no recordings. Now, there was a record label. There was a record company in Chicago. I think it was called the Chicago Record Company. But they used Black Patty as the name of a record label, but they have no recordings of her. As far as anybody knows, there are no recordings of Sissieretta. Now, she preferred that people refer to her as Madam Sissieretta. I think that was the name that she preferred. But she performed for royalty. She performed for 4 United States presidents. And Theodore Roosevelt was the only president that allowed her to use the front door. Otherwise, she was usually ushered around to the back door. And Theodore Roosevelt, he was a lesson of contradictions because he invited Booker T. Washington to the White House for dinner, much to the surprise, or should I say, the chagrin of polite white society. And because of the flack that he received for inviting Booker T. Washington, that was the last time that a black man was invited to come there and eat a proper dinner with the president of the United States until, I believe, possibly Franklin Roosevelt, or it could have been even later than that. But yeah, so if you guys get an opportunity, do check out her story. It's very interesting. And like I said, I've only just learned about her today myself. And it's too bad there's no recordings, but I don't know. If there were any, they're probably long gone now. They would have to have been mastered on a disc or on one of those wax tubes or whatever. And those things didn't last long. So, yep, that was the interesting thing I learned about today. She owned 4 homes across the country. And there you could see one of those dresses with all those medals all over it. But just very briefly, she was born in 1863. So slavery was still going on. That ended what? The Emancipation Proclamation was signed in 1863, right? Oh no, she was. I'm sorry, she was born in 1868, and the Joyner family moved to Rhode Island looking for opportunity. And let me see, by 1877, that was the end of Reconstruction. And let's see, in 1878, Maria Selika was the first Black woman to perform at the White House. And in 1883, Sissieretta Joyner married David Jones. Oh, so that was her birth name, I think, was Marie Sissieretta. Yeah, so 1878. So yeah, she was the first to perform at the White House. Jones' daughter was born in 1884. Jones pursued vocal training in 1886. In 1888, Tennessee Jubilee Singers first toured. Tennessee Jubilee Singers' second tour was 1890. And then in 1892, she performed at Madison Square Garden. And I believe that was also a first for a Black woman. Jones performed at the White House again in 1892. And 1893, Jones headlined a concert at Carnegie Hall, making her the first Black woman to perform there. 1895, she took a European tour. Imagine that, 1895, she went on a European tour. And then in 1896, she sued her manager. I believe that was when she sued her manager. In 1896, Black Patty Troubadours. She actually went on tour with a minstrel show. Of course, she wasn't, wearing all the blackface and stuff like that, but it was an opportunity for her to make some money. She was making, like, what did he say, $2,000 a week? And in 1915, Jones retired when her mother got ill. And then the Great Migration began in 1915. 1990, what am I saying? 1933, Jones died in obscurity. Yeah, so by 1990, I keep saying 93, 1933, that's when she died, and nobody really blinked an eye, didn't really notice, at least not nationally. And can you believe this? 1939, Marian Anderson performs at the Lincoln Memorial. So just so you can get the timetable, I believe the Lincoln Memorial was newly built at that time. It wasn't that old. I think they finished the Lincoln Memorial like in 1920 or 22, something like that. So it would have been relatively new or newly built by the time Marian Anderson performed there. Robert Todd Lincoln actually visited the opening of the Lincoln Memorial. Here I go again. 1968, Dr. Willie Daltrey authored first academic work on Jones. So that was the first time someone wrote about her, I guess. And in 2018, Jones received, are you ready? Wait. Let me find it. Where the heck is the cursor? There we go. Oh, by the way, that's the Black Troubadours. That's the people that she was touring with. It was an all-black cast. There it is. By 2018, that's when Sissieretta Jones received a headstone. She was in an unmarked grave in Rhode Island all those years before they gave her a proper headstone. So there you go. That is her story. Again, take a look. And oh, by the way, you guys, I know they said that Queen Elizabeth died in 2022, but there is some old lady going around robbing banks. And if you ask me, she bears a striking resemblance to Queen Elizabeth II. I submit to you. Huh? I'm just saying. Listen, you gotta, when you're on the run, life is at a surplus. Everything costs a lot. So who knows? Could be. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone. That is it for today. I had fun as per usual. And remember, there is the link for the the what do you call it? And I'm going to put the other fundraiser on the community tab as soon as I'm through here, so that anybody who desires to make a contribution to either, you will have that opportunity. So thank you all very much. Love you guys. I will see you next time. And our last word for the day is, I didn't think this one through, did I? Let me find something. Okay. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Got it? Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. And with that, I am out of here. Thank you all so much. Also, don't forget the most important ingredient to make our faves who they are was those queens right there. The rock of the Sussex family and the very spirit of the Sussex family. Connie Balmer! Hey, Connie Balmer, we're just closing it out now, but thank you so much for being here. Okay. All right, so cue the Ginger Avenger and see you tomorrow.